Oh, there we go. Hello, Hap.
Hello, how are you?
I am well. Yeah, I just managed to get home barely in time here. So glad to see you, and thanks for that bit with the introduction. Appreciate that.
Okay, I just heard from Pran over on Messenger, and she's trying to wake up. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning where she is.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Tim.
Hello, Jerry. Hello, Hap. Thank you.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh, great. I'm glad to be here.
Oh. Hello, Fred.
Oh, you're muted, Fred. Got no audio, Fred. Hello, Don. How are you?
Okay, is that on now?
Yes, now we got
Okay,
you.
good.
Hi, Fred. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, good to be here. I missed the last couple meetings because I was actually pretending to work in the evening on Thursday. So
That's a silly thing to do.
yeah.
I guess pretending to work is not as silly as actually working, no?
No. Still have to fill out a time card though.
Hey, Jerry, when you're
Yes.
ready, I'd like to practice my announcement slides with a little dry run.
Okay.
Think I can share. You need to enable my
Give me a
screen
moment.
sharing. Okay.
Okay, give it a shot.
Okay. And I'll start there's slide one. Can you see it okay?
Yep.
Okay. Slide two,
Yep.
three,
Yep.
four. And then
All there.
that's my last slide. And then I have queued up an intro slide with photos of Pranvera and Hap. If you'd like me to show that while you introduce them.
Sure.
Okay. And Hap, I took the liberty of grabbing your LinkedIn page and pulling a couple of your citations off of it for your background to help Jerry out.
Okay, that's pretty old. I haven't been on that page in a long time.
Well, and then I found a link to your astrobin, and boy, was I impressed when I saw that. So you'll have to tell us a little bit about your astrophotography if you've got time.
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah. Anyway, Jerry, then I'll stop sharing and turn it over to the presenters after you've introduced them. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
All right. Well, who else is here? Am I? Oh, Dennis is here. And Paul. And Jerry.
And how are you doing, young man?
I assume you're talking to me. Because I know how nearsighted you are. Good to see you, Paul.
What was that?
I said, good to see you.
Good seeing you too.
And Dennis, nice to see you up and about.
Yeah, they can't keep me down.
Hey, congratulations, Dennis. It sounds like you came through it.
Yeah, I did make it through for some reason.
You feeling good now?
It still hurts. You can't spread your sternum apart enough for them to get their hands in there to play with the heart to make it feel good very quickly.
I'm sure, yeah.
I'm sure glad to see you.
Well, I'm glad to see me too.
Dennis, I see your ham radio call sign down there. I am WZ40 myself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, haven't seen you in a while, James. Good to see you. I see you have your horns on.
Do I have enough volume on this?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Thank you. I haven't been around for very much lately.
Does look like a horn, you have the moon and all that, the way it's on your head.
Yep. See?
Oh,
There's the sun
Charge
behind
fell off.
it.
Yeah, it sure ain't no halo.
Not for me, it isn't.
Uh,
Gee, it seems like everybody's got a little bit more hair than the last time I saw you all.
oh, really?
Is that a little bit of a mustache I see there, Jerry?
No, just bad lighting.
Oh,
That's the shadow. I've got an overhead light, so that's just a shadow from my nose.
Fred, why don't you give us an update on what your Fresno club has been doing while we got a minute or two here?
Okay, we have not resumed public star parties. A lot of our older members did not want to do that, so we're going to revisit that probably in September, maybe October, and see how things are going. But we are still doing club star parties. We were up at Big Stump, I guess it was last weekend in Kings Canyon. Had decent skies, still a little bit of smoke, but we were above probably 95% of it. So you saw a slight degradation in the skies. Calm, pretty warm. My wife and I left around midnight and it was probably 60 degrees. And that's about 6,300 feet. So it's pretty nice. And did a couple of star trails and a little bit of observing. And we had one of our bigger groups. We had about 10 people up there, and about half of them were doing astrophotography. We've got a brand new guy in our club that just bought an 8-inch Celestron Rasa that was trying out for the first time, and it exposes quick at f2.4. So he was doing all the regular stuff, the lagoon, the Andromeda galaxy, that sort of thing. But I noticed that you've resumed your star parties in the park. Our big public event is at a shopping center, and in the summer we can draw 1,000 people.
Ooh,
And that's one of the reasons we're not doing that. It's probably the most popular shopping center. We're not that far from a theater. The skies are so dark that you're lucky to see any stars, but the planets and the moon come through pretty well. And with those kind of crowds, it is worth it. If we were doing something with 40 or 50 people, it'd be different. But like I say, we just haven't resumed.
Right. We've been back at Oak Grove Park for the last, Jerry, 2 months, I guess. And
Okay.
The crowds have been moderate and not overwhelming, but nice to see people out and
Right.
very interested. We have one coming up this Saturday evening, so we'll see what kind of turnout we have, and hopefully the skies are in our favor. The smoke is kind of east of us now, and for the most part, all the fires are not producing smoke in the valley. So hopefully that translates to good skies this weekend.
Yeah, we've had down here, it's been really variable. We had fairly clear skies yesterday, but when I went outside, I could smell it. and, you know, still getting a little bit of ash on my car and so on. But, you know, a couple weeks ago, it was gray skies like we had down here in Fresno last year from the creek fire, which was, it was almost like Thule fog for a while.
Oh,
Yeah. Not quite on the ground, but the skies were just gray and smoky, and
Color.
the air quality was off the chart, and we didn't do much observing last summer.
So I am curious, who do we have down here on Natasha's iPhone? Got a dog, Dennis?
Yeah, he's whining again. I'm trying to mute. Ah,
So
My-
Natasha's iPhone, are you a student?
On mute.
Not going to respond, okay. Well, let's see, Jerry and Ray have been here.
and Don Mockholtz, hello. I was curious as to what the sky conditions are in your part of the woods there in western Arizona.
We've had some really great weather so far this month. I've been out, I think 6 of the last 7 mornings doing comet hunting. Fairly clear skies, a little bit of haze one night, but otherwise it's been good so far in September.
Speaking of comets, any of you read the articles about the supposedly huge comet that's never shown up in this solar system before, that's supposed to be due sometime this year?
Well, the big one will be here in about 10 years, and it will get as close to the sun as Saturn, which is 10 astronomical units away. And they figure it's at least 50 miles in size, maybe up to 100 miles nucleus in size. It was discovered at 20 astronomical units away, beginning in 2014, using, I think, the infrared survey, one of the surveys. And it took them a few years before they were able to get several positions for it. And so that happened about a month ago, and that's known as probably the biggest comet. We do have Comet Leonard coming in toward the end of this year. Saw an estimate it could only get to 9.5 magnitude. I don't think that's correct, but it will probably be a binocular object going from the morning to the evening sky, mid-December, northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere.
I have I've never missed it.
So anyway, Jerry's going to do the introduction. Are we on speaker?
We're on speaker. We're talking here. Hi,
I
guys.
can hear you mumbling.
I don't mumble. I complain and moan.
Jerry,
How are
you
you?
get your information.
Hello, Jeff.
Hey, guys.
Couldn't hear you, Mike.
Mr. Jerry, did you get the information you needed for the introduction?
Got enough.
Enough? Okay. So we're not going to be going, Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Hap sent me some information, and
Well, who is our
Yeah.
speaker tonight?
yeah,
Is it
Valley
going to
Sky's
be-
here.
What do you think?
I don't know. You were talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who is the speaker? The original or the backup?
Hap is going to be mostly in, does she go by Pran, Hap?
Yeah, it's Pranvera Hyseni, and
Right.
she is on a cruise ship on the Nile River tonight. And it's like 4:30 in the morning to her right now. So she is, I just spoke with her a few minutes ago, and she's to get presentable, and she should be checking in soon. But she says that on the ship that her internet is spotty. So she asked me to step in and provide the visuals and also be able to talk in case she can't, because she and I work together on a lot of projects.
Very good. Very good. Well, like I said, we're glad to have you with us tonight.
Glad to be here.
She doesn't actually believe in anything because she's in denial.
Oh,
Oh, boo.
Good one.
James, look at that beard.
I'm surprised she's going to even be here tonight at all because it's prime viewing time down there.
Dig the beard, James.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
About 4 months ago, the wife said, grow one.
Yes, yeah. You look like Burl Ives.
and you sure that's what she meant?
No, she specifically said, grow a beard.
Okay.
So I think she wants me to pretend I'm Santa Claus this upcoming year.
Oh, there you go.
Just remember, you can't play Blackbeard. You better be Whitebeard.
Gandalf the Gray, Gandalf the White.
I like it better when he was the gray.
Any elves in your life?
Mine?
Yes, it's Santa.
Oh, just my grandkids, all of which are under 12 and starting school this week. In fact, the 2 of them have already had COVID. They finished up their isolation about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. That's good.
So far of my immediate family, I'd say probably 70% of the people have had COVID before the shots became available for the age groups. I'm one of the ones that didn't. I'm one of the ones that got a fairly early vaccination. Encourage, encourage.
All right.
Now, Fred's not going to be here tonight. Is that correct? I'm addressing that to you, Jerry.
Oh, that's what he said.
All right. And Tim, there you are. I see you. That's good. So I guess
Yeah,
you're
Mike,
already-
when we're ready, I've got some slides to use as announcements.
Yeah, we can do that first, and then how long is that going to take? Should we do the speaker first?
No, let's do the announcements. It'll take all of 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we still got another 5 minutes or so.
Don Mackle, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm doing great.
Good to see you
How's
again.
everything going?
I see more of you now that you're in Arizona than I ever saw of you when you were up here.
True, we have Zoom now, don't we?
Yeah.
And I'll give you all a plug for Don's podcast, Looking Up with Don. It's absolutely fantastic. If you don't listen to podcasts, you ought to join his at least. I enjoy it. Don, what is it? You put it out every week or every 2 weeks?
Comes out every week. Usually I upload it on Monday, but it's effective from Wednesday through the following Tuesday. And I think I just finished number 89.
Oh,
Every week.
congratulations.
Last year and a half. So yeah, every week it comes out. Lasts about 15, 20 minutes. It's what's up in the sky.
I enjoy it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Tim.
Hey, Paul Neidhammer, how are you getting along?
Who?
Paul Neidhammer, how you doing?
Well, I'm still kicking.
Good.
Tough time. The wife died a month and a half ago.
Yeah. Let me look at the side of your face. Let me see what's going on over there.
Who, where, who?
Can you-
What?
Yeah, Paul, can you turn your head? I want to see how it's healing up.
My elbow?
No, your face.
Yeah, can you see?
Oh, there you go.
It's better.
Yeah, it's pretty well healed, and according to the doctors, it doesn't look like it looks like they got the cancer.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Congratulations,
I made it a little
Paul.
uglier than I was. The heck, it's like my mouth. They don't work the way it used to.
Hmm.
I'm
What's that?
still a loudmouth. It all comes out of the right side instead of the left.
You're gonna have to start working on those tentacles.
I know. They haven't been used in quite a while.
How's the smoke up there?
Not too bad. Temperature's been high, but it's not like it was when the Caldor fire was really active. It was getting a lot of smoke in here, but the sky is more blue than gray now.
I understand the El Dorado National Forest has been closed and we cannot do any high altitude star parties beyond probably around Pioneer.
That's true.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
There she
Pranvera.
is.
Glad you could make it.
Thank you. I'm not sure if you can all hear me well.
We hear you good.
Yes, coming in loud
Oh,
and
that's
clear.
great. That's very good news. Hi, everyone.
Hey, good evening.
Fran,
Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how to see everybody. Okay, now I do.
How's the Nile?
It's smooth
Wet.
and good. Yeah, I'm currently on the cruise ship. We're actually docked for the moment, so we're not moving. So hopefully the internet is just gonna be okay.
All right.
4:30 in
far,
the
so
morning
good.
there.
Yeah. It's 4:30 over here in the morning.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, it would be.
She's already on there.
People technically aren't hooked in yet, but you're the boss.
At 4:30 in the morning.
I'm thinking about her morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this has been the way school has been the last year and a half, with students all over the world coming in at odd hours. Been rough on them.
So I hear you've got my boys, Tut boys over there.
Yeah. He popped by the lab the other day.
Yeah, I just loaned him Harold, my 10-inch SET and some photographic stuff. Hopefully he's gonna have fun with it.
Good.
So he's doing mechanical engineering.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
His brother did the computer engineering.
Yeah, he wants to break things. So
Well, that's
yeah,
a little
mechanical engineering is perfect for that.
Hello, Jim Schaeferlane.
Hi, Jeff.
All right, you made it. Good job.
Hi.
Christmas tree and all.
Jim, you're missing an ornament on the upper branch there to the left.
Well, you'll have to talk to the boss about that one.
All right.
This is
We're almost
the
there.
night.
Almost there.
Let's see, Thursday. Let me get my calendar up to David here.
I think it's almost 7:30. Should we go ahead and start?
Certainly.
They're driving.
All right.
You're the boss.
All right, guys. Well, okay. Welcome everyone to the September Stockton Astronomical Society meeting here. I want to wish you all well. I hope everyone is healthy. And we should have a great evening tonight. We have a very interesting guest speaker. Before we start with our guest speaker, though, Tim did want to make a few quick announcements. And then right after that, we should get right into our guest speaker. So go ahead, Tim. Are we on mute?
Okay.
Or what?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Let me start my presentation here of the announcements. Hopefully you can now see the first slide. So upcoming this Saturday, September 18th, Astronomy in the Park. This is our public outreach And we need telescopes and members to show up. Some of our regulars are not able to come, so hopefully we'll see you there. Same time, same place. That's this Saturday. Coming up in October, a surprise presentation. It'll be a surprise to all of us, including our program director. In November, our general meeting is kind of a special one. It's the pre-screening of the movie Luminous. Have another following announcement. We'll go over that in just a moment. And then coming up in December, our general meeting is our annual show and tell presentation. So start getting your presentations ready and with the things you want to share with the group. But look, I always look forward to the December meeting. Okay, as I mentioned, Luminous screening. This is scheduled for Thursday, November 11th. 7 p.m. is the show time. And we're going to be meeting in person at the Lathrop High School auditorium that Jeff has secured for us. So this is a showing of the film on the big screen. This is for members and guests for this special pilot screening of this new documentary. And there's a full article in the Valley Skies newsletter, but in summary, this professor of astronomy, Larry Molnar, professor of astronomy and physics at Calvine University in Grand Rapids, Michigan, has predicted a future explosion of a star, a accreting binary that he's predicting will go off in 2022. So he's got a lot riding on this prediction, and this film is all the background that has led up to his prediction. And so it should really be kind of interesting to see how this documentary has been put together. So in the Valley Skies newsletter, there's a link to a trailer to kind of whet your appetite. And the reservations are made by telephone to Doug Christensen. You see Doug's phone number there, or Doug's phone number is in the Valley Skies. But go ahead and jot that number down quickly and then phone your reservation in, and we'll follow up with reminders and more details for that November 11th screening of Luminous. And then we have a new award program. I think it was announced last month, but Jim Schieferling has come up with this New Moon Challenge Award. And so this is kind of an award or a challenge to the members and guests that Jim has put together. And the way it works is on the day after the new moon, you'll see what Jim calls a sliver moon. And so you can see the background there of the slide. That was the sliver moon that was photographed by our own member, Eric Holland, this last Tuesday evening. Very, very slim little dim sliver of the very first one-day-old moon. Very difficult to see on the horizons. And so it's quite a challenge. So Jim's giving these certificate awards out for if you observe one moon for just 1 month, or the big award that I think everybody's gunning for is 12 consecutive sliver moons. So Jim has put together a log sheet, and the information and kind of the guidelines are on the website, on the SAS website. And you can always contact one of us if you're interested in more details. Like I said, the sliver moon was just Tuesday night, and the next one is not till October 6th. So put that on your calendar, and hopefully we can get some clear skies into the fall and through the winter. We can get 12 consecutive ones. Jim, we want to thank you for putting that together. That's been great fun.
Glad to do it. I thought it was an interesting challenge, and I got skunked, so I'm starting all over again next month on the 12th month.
Okay.
I was able to get it, but I'm curious, did anybody else get it?
No,
Got it?
You got it?
I'm really surprised that Eric got such a good view. I'm only 3 miles south of him, and it was totally obscured by all the low-lying clouds hanging over Mount Diablo.
Yeah, you've got to catch a little bit earlier while it's still a few degrees higher than the clouds or above the mountain range. But it's quite the challenge because it's right at sunset. The sky is still pretty light, and so finding it is quite the challenge.
Most definitely.
Okay, hey, we're looking for astronomy merit badge counselors. This is not a difficult ask, but or a difficult task, but we want volunteers to sign up with the Boy Scouts. We'll put a small group of us together so that we can help these troops out in the Central Valley here with their astronomy merit badge. They can, we'll set it up to where they can come out to Oak Grove Park to meet up with us at the astronomy in the park, or we may go to wherever their troop outing is to support them. So if you're interested, let me know. In fact, is why I'm announcing this. Is anybody interested that I'd like to follow up with you and give you more information? Anybody on the Zoom meeting tonight interested in that? Okay, we'll track you down at a later times. Okay, so Jerry, I'll turn it over to you to do the introductions for our speakers.
All right.
We can't hear you, Jerry, because you muted yourself.
Thank you. I just, yeah, we'll start over. We have quite a dynamic duo of presenters tonight. We have our scheduled presenter is Pranvera, who just reminded me that I was on mute. And because of technical and issues she may have from her location, she has a close partner, Hap Griffin, who is also here tonight. So between the two of them, we should have an awesome evening. So I'll start with Hap. Hap Griffin is an astrophotographer from South Carolina. His background is in broadcast engineering, where he was vice president of the South Carolina Education Television Network before retirement. He still serves as an engineering consultant. He does up-close launch photography at the Kennedy Space Center for Sky and Telescope magazine. He has 6 lunar images that are included on a time capsule built by Carnegie Mellon University that will be going to the moon next year to be dropped onto the surface. He and Pranvera Hyseni have been working together for 3 years now and have one recent asteroid discovery named after them. By the way, oh, never mind, sorry, carried away here. Pranvera Hyseni is a celebrated science popularizer, I can talk, and founder of Astronomy Outreach of Kosovo, also referred to as AOK. She runs the Kosovo chapter of Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project. She completed her BA in geography at the University of Pristina in 2019, and now she's pursuing her master's in planetary science at the University of California in Santa Cruz. She single-handedly brought science to her community by developing a very powerful astronomy outreach organization, the above mentioned AOK, and she's established a worldwide network of both professional and amateur astronomers who support her initiative with equipment and other resources. She uses this support to provide activities throughout the country of Kosovo. The AOK has become internationally recognized following invitations for Hyseni to be a keynote speaker at some of the world's largest astronomy conventions and gatherings. Her public education activities were further expanded when she worked on various projects with the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology of Kosovo, as well as other government institutions. Hyseni wishes to help rebuild her nation by leveraging the public's interest in astronomy. Pranvera was selected to be one of the 5 most influential women in Kosovo. She's been honored by the International Astronomical Union and the Minor Planet Center with the naming of an asteroid 45687 Pranvera Hyseni. She received awards from the Astronomical League and the Association of Lunar and Planetary Space Observers. Recently, Pranvera accomplished her first provisional discovery of a main belt asteroid, 2020 SS13, found in data provided by Pan-STARRS while working with International Asteroid Search Collaboration. And besides working towards her master's degree, her current effort is to help the first observatory and planetarium in Kosovo. So I am very impressed. And so everybody, please welcome Pranvera Hyseni and Hap Griffin
Thank you.
to tonight's meeting.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I'm sorry about my location first, and I'm sorry that I won't be able to share any presentation because I'm doing this from my phone. But I arranged with Hap that he's gonna show some of my work before he carries with his talk later on. So for all of you that doesn't know me, you probably heard a little bit about me through Jerry. I'm currently right now doing my master's in California in planetary science, and actually it's really cool because I like California very much, and I've been there before, like on short visits, but it's now different having to move there. It's a new place, and it's like a new educational system, and it's really cool to experience and have that, you know, living in United States and studying there. It's such a big thing for me, and it's a great opportunity. And of course, even though I moved to United States last year, I am still, you know, I have my ties very close to my country because my main goal was doing astronomy ever since I was a young kid, when I started liking it as a young kid. And then I wanted to try to develop it further in my country because we're a very young country in the Balkans. We just got our independence like 13 years ago. So we're still trying to, you know, stand in our feet. And we don't have a lot of going on the way of science and education over there. So especially astronomy, you know, it's really not very common as a science in our country. So for me as an amateur, I felt very responsible that doing outreach activities and forming an astronomy organization as the very first one in our country would be very important. And that's what I did like 7 years ago. So with this organization, I started it as a very little thing, like a small group, and I thought it was gonna be, you know, very, you know, easy to carry on and everything, but we had to overcome like a lot of challenges. And I never believed that our organization would become actually internationally recognized, and we would have made so much change in our country within a very short time. And we're only a bunch of students running this organization. So our main focus was having activities, especially in schools, where we can reach the young generation, where we can reach the kids. And of course, Kosovo is a small country. Within 2 hours, you can go from border to border. So for us, it's really easy to reach any school in our country. And we also focus very much on rural areas, like in schools where they don't get like anyone like all the time, like schools that almost never get a guest. So when we go there with our telescopes and set up and ask the kids to look at the sun, usually because these take place during the day, and to see all the solar prominences and everything that we offer, of course it's really exciting. And a lot of these activities we also do like in public squares in the cities. Usually on a nice evening, we just set up our telescopes in the evening, and they're like, we usually go like to city centers where like a square, like for example, if I went to Santana Row in San Jose, like where all the people are, that's those are the areas where I usually try to focus, because I mean I can always do an outreach event like in the top of a mountain with dark skies, which would be really cool, but who the hell is gonna show up? Nobody. So I'm trying to reach for the people. And that's a really good way, because I always get like thousands of people in my events. They're like hundreds of people that just come pass by and they look in the telescope, and there are people that have never even seen a telescope. So there are like so many that have never even looked through it. And of course, when they look through the first time, like seeing the moon or Jupiter or Saturn, it's really exciting for them. And this is not something usual. It's not like anyone has ever done this before in our country, like bring a telescope outside. And before I started my organization, I really didn't have any equipment. I only had like a small telescope, a 3-inch Newtonian. Uh, but later on, after I was doing some activities and I was trying to, of course, learn English and connect on social media, I was lucky to meet numerous astronomers who supported me by sending me telescopes from Germany, from United States, Australia. So within a very short period of time, like within a year, I managed to have like around 7 or 8 different telescopes, including some really nice solar telescopes like H alpha, Calcium K, visible light, which is very helpful, especially if you're doing outreach during the day in schools, because that's something that you can show the sun to the kids in different wavelengths, and you can explain what they're looking at. It's like you can bring down science and physics and chemistry, and it's really nice. But this is what I have been doing like for the last, decade, trying to do a lot of outreach, trying to popularize the science of astronomy in our country, and it worked very well. It's like me and my organization have tried to push the government to help us and support us in many occasions. And we were lucky previously when we had various projects with the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology in Kosovo. They helped us financially, so we could go to high schools and like cover a lot of areas in Kosovo and do a lot of activities, do astronomy camps. We also had a star party called Presidential Star Party that we did with the president of Kosovo. That was like 2 or 3 years ago, and we took it as we copied actually from White House, because Barack Obama always did a star party in the White House. So we said like, what the heck, let's do one with our president. So it was really cool, because it's not about the president. It's like when you bring the president into an event, you're actually spreading the voice out there to the people, because I don't have the power to spread my voice as Fred, because nobody knows me. But when the president announces something like that, of course everyone's gonna get attention. And it was a very cool thing. So we did that. But now my current efforts are to be able to build the first observatory and planetarium in Kosovo. We don't have an observatory yet, not even like a tiny small one. All my telescopes that I have, like the largest telescope in Kosovo is an 8-inch right now, and I own that, and I take it everywhere in Kosovo. It's nice, but not very convenient, because when you have to carry your telescopes like almost every week, of course they're gonna get like damaged, and they're heavy, all the counterweights and the car battery and everything, because we connect it to a car battery to give power to the mount. But yeah, this is what we have been doing, and I'm trying to change that. I want us to have a little facility like a planetarium, an observatory, and luckily Celestron has donated us a C14-inch telescope, which will be installed in the observatory once we have the building. But our main issue is how to make the building. And we also got the property already donated by some professor in Kosovo. And we have the infrastructure, the road, and the electricity already done by the NATO troops, K4, that still is in Kosovo ever since the war. So we're still trying to, ask for funds, even from private donors, and we're trying to convince the government that this is a good thing to invest if they want to help, but they're kind of lousy. So I don't know what's going on. This is always when you try to work with politicians, they're like that. So of course, if anyone wants to help, we have a GoFundMe page for, helping and supporting to build the Kosovo's first observatory. So far, I think we have managed to get close to $10,000, but we're still keeping, our fundraiser up. Hopefully someday we'll get, all the money needed to build the building. This is gonna be not just an observatory. It's gonna be, I would say, like a small science center, because it's gonna be open to the public. We'll have like a hall, like for conferences, for talks, for presentations. We'll have an exhibition. I collect meteorites, so I plan to put like a meteorite display as well, and a lot of things. Every country has something like that, like everywhere. I'm actually on a trip right now. I was in Dubai, I was in Turkey, I was in Maldives, I'm here in Egypt, and everywhere I go, everyone has something like this. Everyone has like a small facility dedicated to science, except for Kosovo. And it's embarrassing. And I want to change that. And we need it. After all, we need, our kids need to have something that they should be appointed to, something that they can get inspired. And then they can start from there and on. And one other thing I've been doing is like, when I moved to United States, I had to, I left all my telescopes behind, because I didn't need to bring them all the way to United States, because my organization needs them more than I do, and Kosovo needs my telescopes because we don't have any others. You don't find a telescope to buy in Kosovo. Anything you need in the way of astronomy, you would either have to buy it and ship it to Kosovo, or ask a friend to buy it for you. It's like astronomical equipment don't exist in Kosovo. So moving to United States and not having any telescopes, and also I do a lot of traveling. I was last year stranded in Australia for 6 months because of COVID. I was doing a trip to Southeast Asia. And when you do that continuously, you don't really have like a lot of time, to observe, and you can't carry your telescope with you all the time. So what I used to do is I became a member of the SLU platform. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of that. It's probably yes, I assume yes. So SLU is a really cool thing. I find it cool because it's a nice platform. Like when you don't have telescopes, or even if you do have telescopes but not very nice ones, SLU can give you the opportunity to use their telescopes, and they have like they have an 11-inch, they have two 14 inches, two 17 inches, and a half-meter one, which is the 20-inch. And they're mainly located in the Canary Islands, in the Northern Hemisphere, and also in the Southern Hemisphere in Chile. And what that means is like when you access their website, you're able to observe in both hemispheres. Like, in the south, you can see objects that probably from your yard you would never see, which is true. And you can, image. They give you opportunity to. They have like numerous catalogs. But if you don't want to choose something from the catalog, you also have the opportunity to write your own coordinates, set up the telescope, and the telescope is just gonna move in the sky at the time where you tell the telescope. And even if you're not there, if you're like, you set the telescope at 4 a.m. and you want to go to sleep, the photos that the telescope is going to take for you are automatically going to be saved. So you can just wake up in the morning, have a nice coffee, and go process your images. It's very convenient. So when I travel, I use that a lot because I can access Flu from my computer, from my I mean from my phone, and even when I'm like in the car during the day. Of course, like in Canary Islands or in Chile, they're like different time zones, so I can still observe. They also have a solar telescope that you can see the sun like 24/7. Um, well, not 24/7, but during the day, of course. And it is a nice tool to use. I was able to
Fran,
show
I have some of your images here if you
Oh,
want to
yes, I
want me
forgot
to put
to
those
say
up.
that. Yeah, Hap is
Okay.
actually displaying some of my images.
I'm going to share
I
my
was,
I'm going to share my
yeah,
screen here and then let Fran talk about the images. And
yeah, thank you, Hap.
hopefully, let's see. Let's see, here we go.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Hap. Yeah,
Okay,
these are just some of the images that yeah, we can see that, Hap. Thank you
can you
very
see
much.
that? Okay.
Yeah, these are some of the images that I was able to take with Blue telescopes. I have never been able to do astrophotography before from my own telescopes because it takes a lot of time setting up and being very precise so you don't get like star trails and, having a nice mount, having a nice camera, everything. It requires a lot of effort. And I can't really do that in my own. So doing it with from SLU, it's very convenient. And of course, it counts as your own photo because you are doing the photo. And I was able to do a lot of nebulas. Probably Hap, you can just scroll by because I don't think I'm gonna stop at each image, so you can just kind of display them. These are, yeah, some of the photos I've been able to take. And for someone that like me that has absolutely no experience with astrophotography, I could say that I'm really proud of these images because these are the only ones I've been able to capture as my own. And with SLU, I have been also trying to use it. Like the main reason I joined SLU was because I wanted to look for minor planets, for asteroids, and they have some decent telescopes, as I mentioned, and with from them you can do that. So I was also able to capture a few asteroids. Nowadays, I'm not having a lot of time to play with SLU because I'm busy with school, or last year I was doing school all the time. It was remote, but it wasn't allowing me to have a lot of time. But when I do, it's a very nice place to go and just, look at the sky from your office or from your bed or wherever you are, from your phone. It's very convenient. So if anyone doesn't want to invest, in buying expensive astronomy equipment, you can always become a member of SLU. It's a very nice platform. So what else I have been doing is working with HAP. Yeah, this is the NeoWise comment that I took. So with HAP, we have been mainly focusing in capturing minor planets. HAP has an observatory in South Carolina, and I visit him regularly. We go to his observatory and we spend sometimes a few nights looking for, asteroids, for new confirmations that the Minor Planet Center will publish. We try to hunt those down and make a report upon them. It's been very successful. It's been very nice working with HAP. But of course, when he shows you astrophotography later on, he will blow your mind, and my photos from SLU will look really bad. So, and then lately we have been working with Isaac, which Hap also is gonna talk about more. And we just were notified a month ago or so that we got our first provisional discovery, and it's been a really, really, really nice thing. I'm very happy with that. So I would say thank you very much to all of you. I'm not gonna probably speak any longer because I want to give some more time to Hap to explain all of this. But it's been really, really happy to be here. I'm sorry that Fred probably wasn't able to join us. I would have loved for him to be here, but everyone send my greetings to Fred, and thank you again for inviting me. Hap, I think you can go on with
Okay.
Isaac or
Does
anything
anyone
you
have
wanna
any
talk about.
questions? First, does anyone have any questions for Pran? Okay, well,
Fran,
okay,
I do have, Fran, thank you for that presentation. Kind of encouraging to hear what you're doing in your country and really starting from scratch there in Kosovo. And I know that you kind of expressed the joy of being at a star party and seeing somebody enjoy and see the moon or a planet for the first time. I think that's something that is so rewarding that we take advantage of as when we host star parties. But I wanted to ask you, what would you say is a perfect star party? What as an outreach, what are the components that make a great star party? Because we're always trying to make our events better.
Well, for me, not just the star party, but for me, a successful outreach event is when I reach a lot of people. For me, it's not successful just going in a really, really dark place and setting up the telescopes with a bunch of folks and just looking at the sky. Like, I've seen a lot of places, which is good, but like, where are the rest of the people? I mean, my aim as an outreacher is to reach the people. And if I do that, I'm not going to have a lot of kids. I'm not going to have a lot of parents show up at the star party. So if I want to do something like that, of course, I would call it for my own joy. Like if I want to go to a very dark spot, that would be a blast. I would have a blast for myself. But that means that I am really not doing a good job in influencing others. So what I always try to do is my main thing is like thinking a way to find people, to reach people. And I always do that. I always go to the main city. I always get permission from the government to go like in the main spot in the city where all the people are. And of course, when you view the planets or the moon, you don't really care much about the light pollution. So you can be in any city center you want. And of course, that's my primary thing. And I just, in fact, moved to California and I did my very first outreach event there. And of course, it was late. It was 4 in the morning because it was for the lunar eclipse. And I was like, hell, I'm doing the first, outreach event in the United States by myself at 4 in the morning. So I had around like 12 people show up and I was disappointed. It's like, dude, I'm used to having hundreds of people, attend my event and I only had 12. I was disappointed. But next time I want to do.
I will say that
Yeah.
Pran printed up 500 brochures to invite people to her house at 4 o'clock in the morning, and got on her bicycle and delivered 500 brochures around her neighborhood to every mailbox. And so like, she is a force to be reckoned with when she decides she's going to do something.
Well, my next time I'll try to do something probably in downtown San Jose or Santana Row or somewhere where all the people are. But I just have to figure out how things work in the United States because I'm still getting used to that. So yeah, to answer your question, that's my primary thing is trying to reach as many people as possible because you never know among all these people who you're going to inspire and whose life you're gonna change. Because someone changed your life probably like that many years ago by a small telescope, by something very small that took you into astronomy and changed your life forever, and you cannot let go. And who knows, maybe you can do the same for someone. Even if it is only for one person, it's still worth it.
I don't have a question. Well, it's kind of a question. You're welcome to share your GoFundMe page with us. I think we would like to see that.
Okay, yeah, I will do that on the chat.
Very good.
Yeah, when Hap starts talking, I'll do that.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to inform everyone as Hap carries with his presentation, if no one has any more questions for me, I hope you don't mind if I leave. It's 5 in the morning here and I have to leave at 6:30 to visit more ruin sites around in Egypt. But it's been a great pleasure to talk to you guys. Thank you again.
Well, the pleasure is ours. Thank you very much.
All right. Shall I share my screen now for the second portion?
Please do.
Okay, do you have that?
Yes.
Okay. One thing that Pran and I met about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. We were actually at Kennedy Space Center for the launch of the Parker Solar Probe solar spacecraft that's currently orbiting the sun. And we started talking and found out that we had so much in common. And then it wasn't long after that she scheduled a trip to spend a week with me and at my home here in South Carolina. And she's been here several times since. And so when we get together, she's gotten me interested in the things that she's interested in, which is solar system objects, asteroids, comets, that sort of thing. And let's see if I can get this to work. Here we go. So what we're talking about here tonight is the main belt asteroids, and something I want to actually start observing is some of the Trojan asteroids that exist in the L4 and L5 points around the Lagrangian points in Jupiter's orbit. But the asteroid that we recently discovered is a main belt asteroid, and I'll show you its location shortly. This is my observatory. It's one of 5 that exists in a very rural area of South Carolina, where a group of us have gotten together, and we own some property there. And over the course of 20 years, we've built some fairly nice buildings. This is a roll-off roof type observatory that has a heated and air-conditioned control room in the back, where I can stay for a weekend with no problem. It has a bathroom and a kitchen and all that sort of thing. And the front room is where the telescopes are. So when Pran comes down here, this is where we like to go when the weather permits. This is my imaging rig. I'm mostly a deep sky photographer. I have a plane wave 12.5-inch CDK, corrected Dow Kirkham, and a Takahashi FSQ 106, and several cameras, but the main one is a QSI CCD camera, the one with the blue back that you see there. And it's all on an AP 1200 mount. And this is just a sample of some of my galaxy images and some nebula images. And I'm working towards creating a coffee table book at some point. Right now I'm doing some engineering consulting work. And once I get through with the current project that I'm on, I'm gonna try to work towards a astrophotography coffee table book, because I've had a number of people that have expressed interest. Anyway, when Pran and I get together, this is inside of the control room at my observatory, and we can control everything from inside of here, no matter what the temperature is outside. If it's hot or cold or whatever, we're in air conditioning and heated area in this place. This is just last, I guess, 2 months ago, back in June, when Pran was here, and we were finding some asteroids, not discovering them, but locating them and tracking them and photographing them. And you can see the equipment there, and the roof is rolled back. Here's a few examples. Let's see, I can't see the labels on here, but here's some examples of some asteroids that we grabbed a number of images and animated them so that you can see the asteroids moving. And here is a comet, and it's buried underneath. You might be able to see the name of it up the top, but I've got a menu over it, so I can't see it. But anyway, this is one that Pran shot through my telescope. It's called Fama a few months back. You can see the motion against the background stars there. And so what do we do with that data? We use software called Astrometrica, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And it allows you to calibrate your computer screen such that every pixel is mapped to a right ascension and declination very accurately. And so when you click on an asteroid, it looks up in the Minor Planet Center database to see if it's an object that should be there at that particular point at that particular time. And if it is, then you're observing a known object. If it comes up with nothing for that location, you may have a new asteroid, and then you can file the data in a particular format and potentially discover a new asteroid. I have a observatory number for my observatory. It's certified by the Minor Planet Center, so I can generate automated reports to them, and that's what we generally do. Here's a picture of Astrometrica. It's a neat piece of software. It again, it allows you to, it plate solves the image or images that you submit to it, and you line it up with a huge number of reference stars, so that the screen is very accurately mapped to the celestial coordinate system. And then all you have to do is click on an object and it looks it up. In this case, here is an asteroid right here that I clicked on, and it gives you the name of it. It's 2000 AC6 down here. And so hopefully, you'll find something that does not come up in the database. And in that case, you may have a new discovery. When I first started working with Pran, one of the first things we wanted to do was to image her asteroid, the one that had been named for her because of her outreach efforts, 45687 Pranvera Hyseni. And so I started imaging the area where it should be, and this was our first recovery image of it. You can see the stars are pinpoints, or almost, and then you can see some slight motion in this object here. And that is her asteroid. That was the first image that we had been able to capture of it. Here it is in Astrometrica. And sure enough, when we click on that particular object, which is right there in this picture, it comes up in the database, 45687 Pranvera Hyseni. And so that verifies that is indeed her asteroid. And this is some images stacked of it, showing the motion of it right here in the middle of the screen. You can see some other satellites going by over the period of time, but something interesting over here. Here's another asteroid that's on a parallel trajectory, parallel orbit. And we checked that one out. It indeed was a known asteroid. So I don't recall the name of it right now, but it was not a new one. But it's interesting how in the main asteroid belt, a lot of asteroids tend to follow almost parallel paths. One thing that I'm working towards on Pran's asteroid is to generate a light curve. When you do light curve analysis, you can find out a number of things about the asteroids. And of course, asteroids shine by reflected light, and so the amount of light that shines off of it depends on the surface area that's exposed to the sun and is in our direction. And so as it rotates, if it's an odd-shaped asteroid, then the amount of light varies over time, and you can measure that light over time and come up with a light curve. And when you can detect that you've got a full cycle, then you know what the rotational speed of the asteroid is. And here's a graph of what I'm talking about. If you have an odd-shaped asteroid at the top as it rotates, the amount of surface area exposed to you and that's able to reflect light changes. And so you get a relative brightness curve, and it may only go up and down by less than a magnitude. but you can find the rotational period in terms of hours. And another thing, well, here, for instance, this is the asteroid Bennu, where the OSIRIS-REx mission just took a sample. It's a pretty symmetrical asteroid, and as it rotates, it doesn't vary its the size of surface exposed to us very much. But here's a different one. And you can see as it rotates, if you can imagine in your head the integration of all of the light that's coming from this object, it's going to vary quite a bit over its rotation. And where the rotational axis of this is parallel to or perpendicular to us, then you get a pretty nice, almost a sine wave-like curve. But if it's an object that has a complex rotation, where its rotational axis is not parallel or perpendicular to us, then you're going to get some weird stuff here. And this would be a very complex light curve, but it would still be easy to detect when you have gotten a full cycle. This is a typical light curve. You can see you have a sharp dip here on this one, but then the next time it comes around, you've got some lumpiness in here, but then it comes around again and you got the sharp dip again. So from here to here is one cycle, and that's the time of its rotation. Another thing you can do is if you plot where the Earth is and where the asteroid is, and you take several different light curves at different times of the year, then because of the variation on the axes that are the axis that it's rotating around, you'll get different light curves depending on where the relationship is. The cycle will be the same, but the actual curve itself will be somewhat different. And there are mathematical programs that you can submit that to, and you can actually over time figure out what the shape of the asteroid is. So by doing just very simple measurements, you can find out a lot from a point of light. It's pretty interesting. We use software called MPO Canopus to do photometry. And if you were just measuring a single object, then as high altitude clouds go by, or the humidity changes, your seeing changes, things like that, you could have a lot of local effects, atmospheric effects, that would vary the brightness of any one particular object. But the good thing about Canopus is that you can define a number of stars within the field of view that you assume are not variable stars. You need to check on that, but excuse me, let me back up here. You can use reference stars here. And if it's, let's say, some cloudiness or some humidity or something was to go past here, it would basically affect all of these stars together, and the brightness of all of them would go up and down. So what you're doing is you're measuring the brightness of the target star against several other stars in the field of view. And by doing that, you can easily measure brightness changes down to less than 1/10 of a magnitude. So this is how we do it there. This is also used in the photometry of variable stars as well. And so far, I haven't been able to get a full cycle on Pran's asteroid, but I've got a partial cycle. And this is what it's been doing while I've been able to observe it. And of course, we've got almost a 0.4 magnitude difference here. So that's fairly obvious. And I need to just go back once it becomes in sight again and get some more time on it so that I can extend this out and find what the rotational period is. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do for Pran. Now, another thing we have done that's been kind of cool is to verify asteroids and comets that have just been discovered by other people. The Minor Planet Center has a page of newly discovered objects, and they're asking for astronomers to go and observe these objects and supply position data so that they can be verified, or that their orbits can be calculated a little more accurately and that sort of thing. here's an instance where we were at my observatory January, or a year and a half ago. And just before we left, there was a full moon in the sky. It was still hanging over in the west. And this was about, I guess, 4:30 in the morning, and we were both pooped. And but before we decided to shut it down for the night, Pran wanted to see if she could help verify something that had just been discovered within the last couple of weeks. And sure enough, we found there was a tentative comet in the east. So it was in a darker part of the sky. And we were able to find it. And it had just been discovered 10 days prior. And we submitted our observations to the Minor Planet Center. And if you'll notice on here, these last two lines, they end in the number 449, which is the observatory code. And if you go down here, 449 is my observatory, the Griffin Hunter Observatory in Bethune, South Carolina. That's an old name. We've since renamed it. The observer is Pranvera Hyseni, and the measurer is L. Griffin, which is me. And so we supplied these last two positional measurements. Here's the right ascension and declination, along with the magnitude 19.3 and 19.0. And I submitted these the early that morning to the Minor Planet Center. And within the next hour, here comes this circular that came out. And sure enough, we had provided the last data that was needed to confirm comet C2019 Y4 Atlas. And we didn't think, we were really happy about this at the time. And but then over the next couple of months, I started seeing in the magazines, people were saying this Atlas, Y4 Atlas, is going to be the asteroid of the comet of the decade. It's going to be really bright and naked eye visible later that year, 2019. And so, we had provided the last data to confirm it. And so we were really happy about that. Unfortunately, as you remember, the asteroid, I keep saying asteroid, the comet broke up as it went around the sun in early April of that year. And so it never became naked eye visible. But anyway, we were there right after it was discovered. So that's a lot of fun. So our latest project is working with the International Astronomical Search Collaboration to find asteroids. And what they do is this group works with Pan-STARRS and with NASA, and using image data coming straight from the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii, they send it to different groups who have signed up for these, what they call campaigns. And you're able to use the software Astrometrica to search through and blink these images and see if you can find something moving and submit it. So here's the telescope that they use out in Hawaii. It's a 1.8 meter f4.4 designed especially for asteroid searching. It has a huge camera, a 1.4 gigapixel multi-section CCD camera. Here's the a map of the CCD. So it has a full field of view of about 7 square degrees with a pixel scale of about 1/4 of an arc second per pixel. And you can see there's a lot of bad sections on the CCD there. But anyway, that doesn't make a lot of difference. So what they do is send us groups of images. Each team gets a separate group of data so that you're not working on the same data as some other team is. And Pranvera and I formed a team back last September. And so they sent us every week, they would send us a new group of data, and we would search through it and see if we could find things that were moving. And over the course of a month, we found 27 objects that were not listed in the Minor Planet Center database. So those are all potential new discoveries. They wrote us back and said that 10 of those 27 were of sufficient quality observations in terms of signal to noise ratio and things like that to warrant further study. And this is a typical of an image that you might get. And you can see some of the bad pixels, some of the bad sections and vertical lines in the image, but there's a lot of stuff there. And this is the type of a report that we would generate that gives you, this would be the object that we would find, and we named them all AOK with a serial number. And this gives the right ascension and declination and a amplitude or a brightness magnitude figure here. And we would submit these to the IASC, and then they would further submit them to the Minor Planet Center. And then recently, this is how we would work. She is normally in California going to school, and I'm here in South Carolina. So we would work over Zoom and work on video and work on the same data at the same time and have it pulled up on Astronomical on her laptop and on my computer, and we would search through it. So here is an image towards the end of that campaign, and let me get it started here. And you'll see right down here, there's a moving asteroid. That turns out to be a first discovery of this new asteroid, which we got word back in mid-July that it had been given the preliminary name of 2020, which is the year of its discovery, since we found it last fall, SS13. And sure enough, as soon as we heard that, we just about went crazy. She called me. I forgot where she was, but she was traveling somewhere. And I went straight to the Minor Center, the JPL small body database browser, and searched for our nomenclature 2020 SS13. And sure enough, there was the information about their asteroid, the parameters. And here again is its minor planet ephemeris service data. So you can go to this page and find it at any point in the future. So I started looking to see, here's the way the solar system was arranged on the day that we discovered it. Here's Earth. Of course, here's the sun over here, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and here's the asteroid out beyond the orbit of Mars, almost in line with Mars. So it was fairly close to the Earth when we discovered it. Here it is now. It's on the far side of the sun. Here's Earth right here, and you can see that a couple of weeks ago when we first heard about it, it was almost in line with the sun, so that you couldn't see it at all. It was only visible in the daytime. But now we are catching up in our orbit with it, and you can see that it's not in line with the sun anymore, and it's starting to become visible. Excuse me, let me go back. It's starting to become visible in the early mornings just after sunrise. And as time goes on, it'll become visible somewhere in about October, November. It'll be well into the night sky. And I'm going to try to give it another try with my equipment and verify its location. Now, moving forward in time, here is September of 2024, when it makes another close approach to Earth. This will be about as close as it gets. And of course, I'll be imaging it at that time as well. So are there any questions? Let me go ahead and stop my share here. I think everybody's muted.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and speak up if you have a question.
All right. Well, anyway, I want to encourage people who might have groups of kids or students to put together a team. Go to the IASC website, and you can register your team and sign up to work in some of these campaigns. Matter of fact, Fran and I are already set up for one in December. And so we'll be working another month's worth of data coming in December, and hopefully we can find a few more asteroids.
All right. So how much time do you have an asteroid finding strategy?
No, it's pretty simple. They send you data. You get unique data. Each team gets unique data so that there's not any overlap.
Okay.
For instance, in a week's, every week you might get a data dump that has maybe a half a dozen sets of 4 or 5 images that are taken sequentially of the same area of the sky. And so you submit that to those files to Astrometrica. You calibrate Astrometrica to match the focal length and the orientation of the camera on their telescope. And once everything is calibrated and all your reference stars are in exactly the right spot, then you submit these, you blink these images basically, and it aligns, the software aligns all the images from a given data set. And you blink them so that they're, you know, showing one image and then the other every second or so. And so it's obvious that there's something moving. And if you find something moving, then what you need to do is go back and select that object on your calibrated screen and see if it comes up as a known object in the Minor Planets Center's database. And if it is, then, you know, you just make a note of that and go on to the next moving object. But if it's not, then you would go through each sequence of images and measure the right ascension and declination on each of the images and send that in as a formatted report to the IASC. And like I said, during the month that we did it back in September and October of last year, out of the data that we got from them, we found 27 objects that did not match anything in the database.
Right.
They came back and told us that 10 of them were very high quality observations. And then, of course, last month, we got word that one of them was indeed and had been confirmed as a new asteroid.
Dynamite. Yeah, I was going to ask you too about the time scale between these shots, but you just mentioned they're about a second apart.
Well, no, they're looking at the header data. Each image might be, you know, 5 minutes apart, something like that. And then they would move on to another section of the sky and shoot 4 or 5 images, say 5 minutes apart. And then, you know, you get downloaded that data or you get sent that data as FITS files. And so you submit it to your software and just go through the software and find things that are moving. It's actually fairly simple, and it's great for, it would make a great astronomy class project. So if any of you know groups that might be interested, you can sign up on the IESC page and find a slot in one of the campaigns that's open and get into asteroid discovery. You don't even need a telescope because you're using theirs.
Right, right. Well, that's dynamite.
The original asteroid you were showing, named after Pran, though, was discovered on your own telescope. Is that correct?
No, that one was discovered back in the 90s. And her name was submitted to the Minor Planet Center several years ago because in recognition of all of the outreach work she does.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so they felt like that giving her an asteroid in her name was, or naming one for her was a good thing to do. So that's how she got her one named for her, is because of her work. Now we get the name.
I had missed that, but so what you were showing was just you finding it and confirming the location at that time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now we do get the name. This one that we discovered last fall, we do get to name it. So we haven't spent a lot of time on figuring out what we're going to name it yet, but but we will name it at some point.
I wanted to ask you, is the orbit of an asteroid, is it unknown until it makes one complete orbit and it's tracked? Or can it be predicted or calculated from just a known position and some tracking over a short amount of time?
No, it can be calculated from just a few measurements. Of course, the farther apart in time those measurements are, the more accurate the calculation is. And indeed, the asteroid that we just discovered has not been around. It hasn't made a full orbit yet. It's only made a partial orbit since last October. So the orbit of it has already been calculated. It's already been verified at least once, and the ephemeris data is available online. So as soon as it comes out from the sun, enough for me to give it a shot with my own equipment, probably in about October, I'll start looking for it.
And that'll prove the accuracy of the orbit calculations.
Right. Every time it's observed, then they'll, make the orbit more accurate. That's the other good thing about amateurs sending in position data on known asteroids, is that every time you send in position data, that updates the orbital parameters of it slightly, and it becomes more well known. And for things like Earth crossing asteroids that are potentially hazardous asteroids, that's exceedingly important. And that's some of the best work that we can do as amateurs.
Excellent. Very interesting. Thank you.
Well, any more questions? In that case, let's thank Hap for visiting and helping with a splendid presentation. Thank you, Hap.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I actually have one question. It doesn't sound serious, but like, do you guys believe in aliens?
I don't know how you could be an astronomer and look out at the billions of other suns, even within our own galaxy, and knowing that there are billions of other galaxies, and know that in the last 30 years that most stars are now being found to have some sort of a planetary system around them. The sheer numbers would lead one to wonder when you look up at night how many eyes are looking back.
Mm.
It's a thing. It's not a thing of believing or not. It's just sheer numbers. The numbers tell the tale.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks again, Hal. That was, like I said, quite an enthralling talk. Enjoyed that a lot.
All right, thank you.
And turn it back over to you, Mike.
I want to thank both of you, Pranvera and Hap, for a wonderful discussion here. It's very interesting. Does anyone have any announcements to make, whether it's the executive committee or just anyone in general? I have a couple, but I'll wait if anyone wants to say anything. Okay, that's good. All right, so a couple of things coming up. One is elections. And in November, we have our elections. October, when we have our next meeting, if anyone is interested, might want to bring it up. We have an election committee, and it's Jeff, Becky, and Christy. You can call any of these people or email them, whatever you want to do, if you're interested, and he will put your name on the roster. If should you not go that far, but have a last-minute decision that you do want to run in November when we have the elections, you can nominate yourself or someone, and then we'll go ahead and have the general election. So I hope some of you might be interested in doing that. One other thing as well is in October, I believe that club dues are should be paid during that time. I have to remember I'm going to make my payment in another few days or so. But those of you that are in a position to do so, please do so. It just makes the bookkeeping and everything and our financial status a little bit more clear and predictable. That's about all I have to say. Jeff, we do have a raffle tonight for someone that can win a Starbucks card.
Yeah, I've already rolled the dice for the raffle, but before that, I want to ask Jerry about dues. Is it true that we are no longer doing the magazines with our dues? We're doing those on our own?
Yeah, anyone that writes in, I will give you the information for that. And Sky and Telescope just changed their supplier or processor, whatever, because they were having trouble with just things weren't happening. And so it's probably easier for people to get to do that on their own. They can still get the club discount. And like I said, I can share that information with you. There are 2 subscriptions that were out there. I apologize. I don't know the names right off the bat, but the checks just haven't cleared in probably a couple months. And I've written to Sky and Telescope and have had no response. So probably refund some money in a little bit here, but yeah, you're probably better off dealing with them on your own. You can still get the club rate.
And on a similar subject, our member Bob Jarrett is not getting his reflector. So do I tell you, or do I, as the Alcor, do I contact the AL, or is there a way?
When does he know when the last reflector he received? Because they were kind of spotty for a while too.
I just got one.
Yeah, I know that Bill Lytle had this issue once, and now Bob Jarrett's having it. So I only got the text from him today, so I don't know the history of what's happened. So I could talk to you separately on that, but maybe somebody else is experiencing the same problem here.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the drawing. Every time we have a meeting here, Mike gets a Starbucks card, and while we're having the meeting, I take the names of the people and I roll a dice and I eliminate it. And let me see if this person is still with us. And, oh, he left. Oh, he's
Want to pull another one up?
Well, I'll contact him. Fair's fair. Our winner's Fred Lusk for the Starbucks card. But I'm looking on the list, and it looks like he is disconnected. So
no,
no, he's there.
There you are. Hey, Fred, congratulations. You won yourself a Starbucks card. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
No. Why can't we hear Fred?
He had audio troubles earlier.
Okay, so Fred, we're not hearing you. So I'm Jeff Baldwin, and if you could email me at baldjb@comcast.net, send me your snail mail address, and I'll send you a Starbucks card. Congratulations. That's baldjb@comcast.net. Okay, good. So you send me your snail mail, I'll send you a Starbucks card. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, Mike, let me just remind everybody of Astronomy in the Park on Saturday night. We need as many telescopes and members out there as possible.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm on. Yeah.
You're on.
Tim?
All right. Okay. Anything
Tim?
else, gentlemen, ladies?
Tim, I'll do my best to be there, but my situation is very fluid and just haven't had a lot of luck getting out to do hardly anything lately. But I'll try and be there.
Thank you, James. Look forward to seeing you if you can make it.
Okay, folks, I guess that wraps up our meeting for September. I want to thank all of you for attending. We had a great discussion here and really interesting. Makes me almost want to go looking for asteroids, but I don't have the patience for it.
It's work.
It's a lot of work and I don't want to work that hard. But anyway, thank you all. And I guess we'll close the meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
See y'all.
Very good meeting. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you, Hap.
Good night.
Good night, Paul.
Good night, John Boy.
Hey, James Shuknick,
Yeah,
I can't tell from your background, but do you have like a ponytail going on the back there?
nope.
I think
That's
it's
a-
just the background.
Yeah, no, it is a background.
Okay, I thought you had a ponytail going.
I believe that this photograph was taken at the South Pole. There's only two places it could be, and it just doesn't fit the North Pole.
I think it's fake because the moon's so much bigger than the sun there.
I don't know. I lived in Alaska for a while, and it happens, believe me.
I don't remember the moon being 20 times bigger than the sun. I like Eric's backdrop.
I love that one.
What's
Yeah.
that supposed to be?
Is
Looks
that
like
Isaac
it's-
Newton's house?
Yeah, Eric, we're talking to you.
Oh, you are? I'm sorry. What was it?
What's your backdrop?
It looks like a set from the Addams Family.
Yeah, it's just a little like a little office space, it looks like. Like a little small little laboratory, it looks like maybe.
I was gonna say, a lot of chemical enhancements on the desktop back there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, see you later.
Very nice.
Bye now.
Good night, everyone.